Rogue One, a Star Wars story, tells the story of Jyn Erso and her mission to try and find her father and save him from the Empire, which then will lead them to go up against the Empire themselves and get the Death Star plans to the rebellion before anything goes wrong in the galaxy. I remember watching this film for the first time back in IMAX when it came out. It was actually on Christmas Day. I watched this movie and I thought it was absolutely epic. It was fantastic. It was what I wanted to see from Star Wars. And rewatching it now, man, this movie was just so good. While the characterization is pretty stale, and you could tell where the movie is definitely going by the end, for the most part, I found this movie to be very engaging. I thought the story was pretty well paced and interesting to watch. Seeing Jyn Erso start from being a rebellious character to being an actual rebellion character and be part of this movement to go up against the Empire, I thought was very engaging. Seeing Andor now gives me so much more context as to what Diego Luna is going with this character of Andor and made him a more interesting character thanks to the show. So he's a lot better here now if you've seen the show. But as for the other characters, like the Donnie Yen character or the Venom villain character, they are good, they're fine, they're entertaining, but they don't have the most characterization. But with Donnie Yen, his character saved with some of the best fight sequences in the entire film. They utilize his kung fu and martial arts in very creative ways that don't really require lightsabers, which would have been cool, but for what he's able to do in this film, he gives a lot of fantastic stunt work and is probably the most entertaining character in my opinion, as there's a lot of good humor with him. In the Ben Mendelsohn villain character, I found really engaging as an antagonist. He is not as cunning or as threatening as Darth Vader or the Emperor, but as an antagonist to this little group of rebellion heroes, he works very well, and his performance is really good and really cunning and dark. I love the way Ben Mendelsohn helms himself throughout the entire film. As usual with the Gareth Edwards production, the production value, the direction, the visual effects are absolutely fantastic. In terms of modern Star Wars, and especially Star Wars in general, this is probably the best Star Wars has ever looked since Revenge of the Sith. The visual effects are great. It actually looks like there are some props used for some of the big effects that could be CGI. It's just that Gareth Edwards was able to utilize CGI so well in many sequences. All the action sequences are great. They felt grounded and dirty and like you're in an actual war. I really love the way this film looked. It was a lot darker than the previous film, Force Awakens. And I really loved the final battle. By the end, it was some of the best Star Wars battles I've ever seen. The galactic space battles, and especially the planet war with all the TIE fighters. But as I said before, some characters had very little placement in the film. I would have loved to see them be explored more. There's some characters from Andor that get a lot better here if you see the show. But as for the movie itself, they just feel fine. You know their purpose in the story. You know how things are going to go. And the ending is a bit predictable. But I actually quite like how it was still handled. Because it actually felt dark. It felt like there were actual stakes here. Because these are new characters, you don't know if any of them are going to come out alive or not. And I guess I can spoil the film now. So if you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert, everyone dies by the end. No one is actually safe, but they actually still won by the end of the day. They got the Death Star plans, which led to my favorite Darth Vader moment of all time, and then eases us into A New Hope. This was just a great ending for Star Wars. Overall, Rogue One is a very entertaining film. Not the best in the entire Star Wars franchise, but it is a definite triumph for the entire series, and is probably the best movie in the Disney Star Wars lineup, which is very sad because this is back in 2016, and nothing has been as good since, except for maybe Andor or Clone Wars Season 7. I'm gonna give Star Wars Rogue One an A-. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.